G'day, it's the Impaler of your mums here. How's it going, mates? So today I'm going to skip the feudal age and I'm just going to show you how this one particular petard rush played out. I thought it was a little bit funny, a little bit interesting, so here we go, from feudal. So as you can see, I've already got 6 on stone, none on gold, and I'm going to go up with very little resources except for stone. So I'm going to be ready to lay the castle as soon as we hit castle age. So we've got the blue scout just being annoying, which works in my favour because that means I can fight the scout and he won't see my villagers coming. Okay, so at about halfway to castle age, I send the villagers over and I drop their stone. Now the reason I'm doing that is so I can mine the stone, enough for castles, enough for towers, enough for petards. So I get that up. He was going to drop the castle there, but instead he drops it there. Alright, so my castle's up. We'll watch it from his point of view. It's more interesting that way. So from my point of view, I'm about to build my second TC, and I've got one TC there. So I want to keep a veal pumping from each TC and constantly have a petard pumping. So his eco here is about the same as what mine was. I think he must have been planning a castle drop himself, but then changed to a defensive castle. Now the reason I'm shooting his gate instead of his castle and then his wall is because I want a clear path for my petards. So let's see how this plays out. Here we go, we'll speed it up a little. So we're both creating one villager. I've got a number of petards. He's getting fletching. I think he just wants to range my castle, where I just want to shoot down his wall. So my petard's going to go straight from there to there. In the end, that's a little bit useless. But he's deleted his back walls. He's building another town centre. Okay, so he's building a couple costaliers. I think he just wants to snipe my villagers, come back and heal. Snipe my villagers, come back and heal. That's my guess. So here he goes. And they've just run away. And I'm building this castle for two reasons. One reason is to block off this wall, so if he wants to attack my villagers, he's got to go all the way around. Alright, we'll slow it down, The other reason is I want the space from my castle to his castle to be as small as possible so I can destroy it with less petards. Because let's remember, my goal isn't just to take down the castle, I also want to take down the town centres. And he's building another castle here too, so watch how this plays out. I send a couple of petards to this castle because I want to destroy it and its resources with it. I sent enough to there to take out that castle. Boom! 650 gold in the bin. Alright, we can speed it back up a little. So he's housed. He's more than 10 pop over the population limit. So he's just got the 2 TCs at the moment. He's got some idle veals. He can now start creating villages again. He's finally unpopped himself. Now here I'm building another tower. Just because I want to get a little bit more of protected space and I want to encroach on his space so it makes it harder to build farms and whatnot. So he brought all these fields over here and then decided against it. Building a stables. I've built a tower. Here comes his cotalier and they just die. Works out quite good. Now I've got all these petards here. 13 petards, so I split them up. I meant to send 5 because it takes 5 to take down a TC and 5. But instead I accidentally spent 4. Doesn't matter. Straight over here. And there we go. And look, no town centres. I thought that was a little bit funny. So at 30 minutes in, I've got 2 castles. I took down 2 castles, planted a few towers, and got rid of his 2 TCs. The petard rush might not be a very good strategy, it might not be a very effective strategy, but gosh, I find it fun. I could do it time and time again and never be bored. So he's building a TC. In this confusion, he's got quite a few idols. This one little petard went on a suicide mission, and unfortunately he gets no reward from Allah because he's still alive. Alright, building this town centre down there. Alrighty, I'm on my way up to Imperial Age, he's on his way up to Imperial Age, wasted no time going up. Let's have a look at the general stats, we can slow it down a little bit. So I've got 83 villages, free military, he's got 50 villages. So I'm only 30 villages ahead, but if we look over at my eco, it's quite large. And his eco is pretty small, take into account these farms aren't in use. So pretty much it's all just that, that's his eco. I've also got all these defensive structures in his base, and soon I'll have a castle up and a few more defensive. I'm going for Wing to Tsar at this point, because I figured I don't actually know from my perspective what his army's like. Maybe he's got some eco over here and a base. Of course he doesn't, but I didn't really know that. I didn't scout things out too well. I was just focused on doing max damage. So he's an Imperial Age. Why? I don't know. He gets all his eco upgrades in the Castle Age, and he even gets Cavalier upgrade in the Castle Age, and it seems he's going for Cavalier. So we'll speed it back up. Here he goes. It's just over here. Not much has happened. So he takes down a tower. I sort of thought this might happen, and I'm not fighting too hard to defend that. If it was one of these castles, I think I'm just abandoning this. I think in my mind, I just thought, yeah, sunk cost, it's gone. Doesn't really matter. I was preparing a huge eco for Wing to Tsar. Got a few stables up, castles just to create a bit of a buffer. I wanted the relics. So here he comes. This move, if it wasn't already over, this move made it over. I didn't have murder holes, but he must have forgotten there's a castle behind the castle. I could see how that could easily be seen as one castle in a panic, but maybe that's his logic behind it. But he just lost all those cavalier here. And he calls it. Anyway, thank you for listening to my news, and have a great day or night.